What's up, dweebs? So I'm going to talk about a oil painting that I finished back in November of 2022. Yeah, just a couple oil paintings ago. Let's just say it gave me a hard time. And it really put a damper on me being an oil painter in general. So let's get into it. So my planning was very minimal with this project. I had a panel from Watercolor art supplies, I had my Watercolor brushes, I had gambling paint, I had the 1980 version, which is a problem. And now we'll get into that in a little bit. I slapped some gesso on there. How all of this went incredibly wrong. The gesso wasn't applied properly, wasn't smoothed out. It was just a disaster. I also did not seal the back of the wood panel, which is a thing I didn't even know about at the time that I learned later on if I wanted to preserve my wood panel paintings. So, it was already off to a bad start. So like after the bad gesso layout, I was like, screw it. Let's tone it super dark. Let's do a super dark imprimatura. Bad idea. I slapped, I think it was raw umber. Raw or burnt, I can't remember. I've slept since then, barely. So I gathered my gouache paintings, which I use a lot for celestial painting, gouache. I used a lot of that henny gouache, the jelly gouache stuff at the time. It was cheap. I was barely learning how to use gouache in general, so I didn't want to invest into it too much. I had a stack of space, celestial, whatever you want to call it, paintings that I wanted to turn into an oil painting. So I went through them, figured it all out. Then I finally decided on one. Super stoked on the one that I chose. I went through my oil paints, I picked out my palette, I played around with some swatches, and I was like, I think I got it where I want it. It's gonna be vibrant, it's gonna be insane because it's space, and space does whatever the hell it wants, honestly. But there's still some rules, and that's my internal battle. Do I want to go super abstract and not care about the rules, or do I want to be confined into a region of things where I would be more skilled if I did? Panel set, palette set, brushes set. I was feeling good. It was the last time I felt good though. So as I mentioned earlier, I took the imprimatura approach to this painting. And it's something I never really dabbled with, maybe a little bit here and there. And I just wanted to do it because it seemed very familiar to me when I was drawing a lot with charcoal. I would slap the whole paper with charcoal and wipe away, and I felt a little comfortable with it. It's not the same. No, it's not. It's a little bit of a different beast, and I learned that one real quickly. And using such a dark tone on such stark white gesso, not to mention I can see every stroke of that chip brush that I use to slap that gesso on. Stupid mistake. But powered through, got it done, and I was happy with it. And then I kind of just left it alone for a few days, a week, maybe longer knowing me. Got back to it and I was ready for it. Gambling 1980. Great paint, great for student stuff, great for sketches, figuring out color studies, so on and so forth. The Gamblin 1980, as opposed to the standard Gamblin, I believe is just lower in pigment load. I've noticed that I experience glazing issues and layering issues with it, just a little bit. I didn't care. I was excited to paint, and I went into it with some of the darker tones. Even after a few days, that imprimatura was still loose, so it was muddying up my colors really quick because I chose that stupid dark damn color. The panel wasn't where I wanted it, and the gesso was messed up, and the imprimatura was dark, and I was kind of frustrated with the fact that I only had a certain level of oil paints to use for this highly complex, basically celestial gas cloud of infinite power. And I was already at a point in my career where I was several years in as being an artist, both tattooing and art, where I just wanted to feel like I accomplished something with it. Because everything that I did before that, I was like, oh, cool, I made something cool with art. You know, tattooing, I had my good accomplishments. I made people feel happy, and I just felt lost. And I don't feel like I'm doing enough. And so that all kind of came out emotionally, physically during this whole painting. On top of that, I had these Legion brushes from Turkel. I had the same batch that I first bought. I don't remember how many years before that. I'm the first to admit that I don't really properly take care of my brushes. I scrub with them hard. I don't wash them as often as I need to. I get lazy, and I leave them in, Gamsol mineral spirits all the time. And here I am sitting with myself being frustrated with my stupid decisions, even though I want to get more out there and better. We, as an I should say, couldn't really afford a lot. It's right when tattooing took a real dive, and I had a whole family. I had wife and two stepkids, and everything was getting really, really expensive. And I kind of just put my stuff on the back burner. It's been a huge learning curve. I was like, you know what? I have more than enough stuff. I'm gonna get it done. It's gonna get done. I'm gonna get it done. My other frustration with my art is obviously getting an audience for my art. And social media is a very difficult thing. And I'm still here trying to get some type of a breakthrough. Now, I'm not completely stagnant on it. I still post a lot. I still try to learn how the things work, but it constantly changes. And with the introduction of AI stuff, and I just feel like I'm hopeless in this endeavor, but I'm still trying. I'm still pushing through. I just feel like I'm the most hated demographic in the world right now. What am I going to do? I'm not what they think I am. I am what I am. So I just want my art to be seen. No one cares about art anymore. And in the art communities, they're so biased on a certain culture and everything. And it's just hard for them to just drop that for 3 fucking minutes and enjoy the person's art instead of, oh, what does this person's bio say? Oh, what kind of drama do they have? Who did they vote for? Do they support this? Do they support that? Art is life, period. The only reason we know anything about our past is because of art. And I think we all need to get back to that. Art shouldn't invoke politicians. It shouldn't invoke your religion. It shouldn't invoke a culture. Art should be created and enjoyed by all of us. And if you want to create art for those things that I mentioned just a second ago, by all means, that's fine. Do it. But it shouldn't be your standard for everyone else. At the time, I was trying to push my TikTok because, man, that shit was popular. Well, it's still popular. And I tried getting creative, with the edits and the trending music and stuff like that, but I just kept going back to being me, because I am me. I listen to heavy music. I don't really dance. I don't do any of the TikTok trends. I was just trying to push this crazy big painting in oil, as opposed to seeing, and there's nothing wrong with what I'm about to say. I enjoy them, I watch them, I follow them too. But as opposed to seeing rehashed anime frames of animes, or Studio Ghibli redone paintings like in gouache, and it's just like, it's kind of, there's a lot of it and people enjoy it, and I get it. That's really awesome. I'm glad everyone's trying to pick up a brush and do something, but I was trying to push something more unique and it wasn't getting any traction. And well, lo and behold, I posted something of similar. I painted Nezuko from Demon Slayer. And of course, that got way more attention as opposed to my oil paintings. And I wasn't going to conform to that. So I kept pushing it, and it got me nowhere. I stopped posting progress on this painting. During that same time on Facebook, and it caught attention of someone, I'm not going to mention who. They wanted to shoot a deposit. I was like, sure, yeah, let's fuck it. I mean, it's not done. He goes, yeah, I just want to shoot a deposit. I want it when you're done with it. I'm like, whew, cool. Like someone's enjoying it. I just have the mask colors blocked in. Like there's no actual transparent gas cloud look to it. It's just there. Um, cool, sweet. I mean, I believe this person already has two of my other paintings from about 10 years before that. I was like, cool. I was just like, shoot $100, just like my tattooing deposit. I'll put you on the queue and all that stuff like that. And I'll keep you posted on when it's ready. PayPal hit, got money. I used all that deposit money, which I shouldn't have done, on art supplies. The better this painting, I got some new brushes, new style of brush I wasn't really familiar with. That was a dumb mistake. I mostly needed mops, fans, just to kind of help with the smoothness and with these glazes and these, get these colors looking transparent. So when stars are glowing in them, you can see like, the different densities of what makes a nebula or a solar system or galaxy look the way it does. One thing I've always had a difficult time with is getting prints made of my artwork, be it scanning it at home or sending an email of some DSLR pictures, or trying to find someone that has a larger scanner to take these larger paintings and drawings that I do and make them work for prints. There's not a lot of that around here where I live in the Central Valley. And there might be some hidden gems I don't know about. Everything always had to be outsourced and sent to another state, and at the time I neither had the money or was I too comfortable with doing that. So I always just opted out on making prints and just selling the original pieces or holding on to it, which is the greater case of things. So maybe I can find an audience out there that does, or at least enjoys my process or how much of a jackass I am. So to circle around, didn't prep the board right. I gessoed it wrong, too dark of a color. I was worried about changing colors. I was worried about the mediums I was using. I was worried that the colors weren't gonna layer right. Brushes, money, social media. It was just a daunting task. It was really hard and really demotivating on top of everything. And towards the end of the year, it gets really slow for tattooing, and then that just really puts me in a very bad, frustrated mood, as it does for most of us creators. You be it an artist, shoe painter. I paint shoes as well, leather and all that stuff, and it's just everything slows down for us. And and I get some of these people that are like always busy, kind of putting it in my face, and I'm great. I'm happy for them. I don't want anyone to ever feel what I feel when I am getting this way. It's sickening. It's hard. It sucks. It sucks really bad to wake up in the middle of the night knowing that you pursued everything that make you happy is making your life really hard. It's a shitty fucking feeling. And I don't want anyone to feel that way. And it's really messed up for the people to pretend, or the people that are blessed enough to stay busy, to put it in other people's faces and to be cocky. They're going to face it one day and they're not going to know what to do. So, you know, I just don't want anyone to ever feel like that. And I feel ever more determined because I have the coolest little boy in the world depending on me. And I made these life choices way before he was born, and there's no going back now. I'm gonna do this. This is gonna happen for me. All this is gonna happen for me in one way or another. And I'm going to do this for him. Be it morbid, like be a morbid statement right now. If I die soon, he has videos to look back on who his father was. If I become successful, he will have a great layout for whatever the future holds, because it's just gonna get harder. And it's pretty shitty thinking that my son's life is gonna be hard. And I hope he is strong enough to tackle it. I want that for him. Whatever he decides to do, I want him to be the best at it. I really hope he's an artist. He always draws on everything I write on or draw on, so maybe, but he's only a year and a half old, so it's overwhelming, but I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it. back to what I was talking about. Back with this painting. Sorry, I love my kids so much. I want to make sure this happens. I'm just kind of lost in it. So, I want to say it was between 40 and 50 hours. Painting's finished up. I take some video and pictures, send it to the purchaser first before I post it. No response. I posted on social media for a while. I gave the guy a few days and no response. And then on my PayPal, he sends in a thing to get his money back for the deposit, because I have it clearly stated on my website that deposits are non-refundable. And due to that whole snafu, I stopped using PayPal. So there I am, out of money, spent on supplies. Painting did not sell after all this frustration and changing things and just getting through it and getting through it. Still have it 2.5 years later. So I'm feeling pretty defeated, right? And as I get through things and finish things, I just want to remember that I learned a lot. I learned a lot from this, this whole process, this whole experience, of what not to do. It's helped. Despite this painting being my biggest failure in my career, it's helped. And I'm glad I got to experience it. I'm very grateful for it. When I went to approach my next big oil painting, it was so much more successful. Panel was chosen right. I went with ACM, aluminum composite material. Oil ground linen, great for fine details. I toned it properly. I did an underpainting instead of Prematura. Gamblin and Rublev. Linseed oil again. No Gamsol, no solvent whatsoever. The resulted painting was just crazy better for me. And it's just and the only reason that happened is because everything that happened priorly. I want you guys to remember that people are just starting or been in and are getting frustrated with doing the same thing over your art career. You got to take out the opportunity to understand everything that has caused this kind of frustration with your career. You know, I'm a great example of that. Things tend to come the hard way for me, you know, which is fine because it makes me a tougher, more knowledge person in the end. I have no fear of it. I get frustrated with it, but I have no fear of it. I hope that for everyone. The painting, I still have it. I couldn't even sell it for $200 at one point in time. It is what it is. If anyone does show interest in the painting, don't hesitate to email me. No matter how much I draw with a pencil, charcoal, play with gouache, watercolor, poster paints, you know, leather stuff, whatever it may be, tattooing even, I'll always be an oil painter. It was the first medium to teach me how to be a better artist. It you know, which I'll get into in another video. It's everything about it. I love it, and I just want to become better and better with it, and I hope everyone else becomes better and better with it. And that, you know, needless to say, that goes for any medium you use. You know, I heavily use gouache, I heavily use charcoal. I also have all those other ones that I mentioned, and you know, you're going to be seeing all of that on here. It's going to be a thing. We're going to all remember that art is art, and art should always be outside of every spectrum of this planet. It should not be a weapon to push a certain agenda. If you enjoyed listening to me rant and bitch and cry about my failed painting, be sure to like and comment and subscribe to this channel. I also, hey, here it comes, typical. I also have a Patreon. Videos will start being uploaded in mid-June. First few videos will be drawing basics, charcoal basics, and so on and so forth. There'll be gouache, watercolor, everything like I said before. There will even be a special tier for tattooing stuff. I'm gonna keep it really affordable because I just feel like we need to heal. This world needs to heal. People need to heal. And I feel like art is medicine, it's life. And I think we can turn this toxic community of the greatest thing we could use and do into something better, because it's full of fucking nonsense. Later, dweebs.